Hello everyone, Alec Elger, the SideQuest Gamer here, and welcome to Season 5 of the SideQuest Gamer Review Show. For this episode, I decided to review Super Mario Land 2 DX, a color version of the beloved Game Boy classic. I do have a lot in store for 2015, so I decided why not start out with a version comparison for this game in comparison to the original. Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins is the greatest original Game Boy game I've ever played. From having 6 unique worlds to go to right at the start, an overworld map that makes this pocket adventure seem all the more massive, the strange yet creative level design, fun power-ups like the hovering rabbit ears and the fire flower, and hectic boss battles that put up a decent fight. It really comes as no surprise that I, as well as many others, consider this to be not only their favorite Game Boy game, but also one of the best Mario games period. But as an original Game Boy game that made the most out of what it was given, there did come a few minor flaws that just pretty much came with the limitations of the hardware. With the Game Boy not being exactly known for its blast processing, there were instances of occasional slowdown 10% of the time, and the black and white visuals being, well, black and white, it does raise the question if it was possible to fix these issues. And the kind internet people once again make one of the greatest games of all time even better. Now don't get me wrong, there is nothing inherently wrong with black and white visuals. In fact, many Game Boy games look quite nice despite the black and white visuals, and sometimes when a color version is released, it looks so half-baked that I prefer how the original went about it with its shading. But black and white limitations only seem to enhance movies when it comes to the atmosphere. With films like To Kill a Mockingbird, the black and white visuals actually works in its favor since it's a film about the adventures of Gem and Scout living the joyful life as kids, despite living in an area heavily affected by the Great Depression. The black and white is just a constant reminder of the negative atmosphere. And let's not forget the classic zombie film Night of the Living Dead. It's especially great in black and white since every shot looks dark and the special effects like blood actually looks more realistic when viewed in black and white, as opposed to its sequel Dawn of the Dead, which showed blood in color and it looked fake. But that's just for movies. With Game Boy games, the black and white doesn't have that same luxury since most games don't set out to tell a compelling narrative or have a darker atmosphere and use these visuals to their advantage, with the exception of maybe Metroid 2. People accepted it for what it is. Heck, I accept it since the lack of color never takes away from the art style, but it doesn't necessarily add to it either. Maybe for the Halloween world in Super Mario Land 2, but that's just one out of the 6 worlds. So how do you go about having a colorized remaster and not have it come out as half-baked? Simple. Do a very good job with the colorization of the game. Super Mario Land 2 DX is a ROM hack created by Torres and was released on December 25th, 2017 with Game Boy Color hardware in mind, so it won't function on the original Game Boy or an emulator of the original Game Boy, but that's perfectly fine with me. Torres has previously worked on a Link's Awakening ROM hack that made the text more readable in 2015, but to take up an ambitious project like colorizing Super Mario Land 2 is simply impressive. And from the start of the game, seeing the full color Super Mario Land 2 DX logo and background just gives you a taste of what's to come. The colorization of the title screen, Mario and Luigi sprites, the overworld, and the beginning level is simply beautiful. Like, I'm impressed that the Game Boy Color can pull off this level of detail. The color variety rivals that of even Wario Land 3, it's that good. Like, take for example, look at the moving blue ocean background, look at the colors of the Koopas, look at the dirt and grass, look at the question mark blocks. I was fine with it being in black and white, but after seeing this, it looks like it was meant to be seen in full color. But does the color take away from the atmosphere of the worlds themselves? Surprisingly, no. In fact, more often than not, it added to it. From how the mud and beehive levels in the tree world made use of a brown color scheme, giving it a very natural appearance. I honestly think Macro Zone really benefited the most from the colorization thanks to the books being colored red, the garden level having a lot of green, and the ant level having fiery lava below in a brown colored level. The colors of the foregrounds, backgrounds, and character sprites are just so good. It looks like an 8-bit version of Super Mario World. But if all Super Mario Land 2 had to offer was just colorization, I probably wouldn't have even bothered with this video, to be honest. But there's 2 more things that this version does that's even better than the original. For one, they got rid of the slowdown that occasionally affected the game. It wasn't too bad originally, in fact, I didn't really notice it until further playthroughs, but it was there and thankfully it's gone now. But you can also now play as Luigi. Yeah, just press select at the map screen or at the file select, go to the right to switch characters. And it's not even a lazy palette swap of Mario either, since while Mario could jump at a fair height and have good traction, Luigi, however, can jump much higher than Mario, but his traction isn't as good. And Luigi can be used to the player's advantage at times, like for finding the tree zone secret exit, you no longer would need the rabbit ears to hover over there since Luigi can reach that area just fine with a high jump. So beyond the colorization, the developers clearly went above and beyond with this remaster, and as a result, this game is a slightly more masterful experience. Despite the few purists out there who would argue that color and Luigi wasn't needed for some reason, maybe it wasn't needed, but most definitely was wanted, and with DX supplying the demand for a colorized Super Mario Land 2, it didn't disappoint either, and if you want to know where to find it, go to romhacking.net and download it, provided you own the original Super Mario Land 2 in some form, but I'm not your mother, so do as you will. So I hope you all enjoyed the beginning of Season 5. I'm so looking forward to this year because I have so many videos planned. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember to stay awesome.